For many, the name Tanis conjures images of daring archaeologists, ancient curses, and a city swallowed whole by a furious sandstorm, as famously depicted in Indiana Jones' Raiders of the Lost Ark. The film painted a vivid, albeit fictional, picture of a lost civilization, buried and forgotten. But was Tanis truly a lost city, entombed by the whims of nature, or is the truth far more nuanced and perhaps even more intriguing than Hollywood could imagine? The real Tanis, known today as San el Hagar, lies not in some forgotten corner of the desert, but nestled in the fertile Nile Delta. Its story is one of both grandeur and gradual decline, a testament to the dynamic nature of ancient Egyptian civilization and its relationship with the life-giving Nile. Tanis rose to prominence during a particularly complex and fragmented period in Egyptian history, serving as the capital for the 21st and 22nd dynasties, roughly from the 11th to the 8th century BCE. During this era, Egypt was divided, with power often split between the pharaohs in the north, at Tanis, and the high priests of Amun in the south, at Thebes. Tanis was strategically located, becoming a vital trading hub and a powerful religious center, home to grand temples dedicated to Amun, Mut, and Khonsu, mirroring the great Karnak complex in Thebes. Imagine a bustling metropolis, a center of power and religion, its monumental architecture echoing the glories of earlier dynasties. Indeed, many of the colossal statues and obelisks found at Tanis were not originally carved for the city. They were usurped from earlier, more famous sites like Pi-Ramesses, the capital of Ramesses II, and transported to Tanis, a practice that speaks volumes about the political and economic realities of the Third Intermediate Period. This recycling of monuments gave Tanis an appearance of ancient grandeur, even as it was building its own legacy. But then it faded. Not with a dramatic sandstorm, but with the slow, relentless silting up of the Tanitic branch of the Nile, its lifeblood. The river, which had once brought prosperity and facilitated trade, gradually shifted its course, leaving Tanis isolated from vital waterways. This environmental change, coupled with political instability and the rise of new power centers, led to the city's gradual decline. Its temples fell into disuse, its palaces crumbled, and its population dwindled. It became a ghost of its former self, not dramatically buried but slowly, inexorably, forgotten by the wider world, its name fading from common memory, much like a once vibrant painting left to the elements. The true story of Tanis's rediscovery is less Hollywood spectacle and more painstaking archaeological triumph. While early 19th century explorers like Pierre Jacotin, part of Napoleon's expedition, had mapped the site, it was the dedicated work of French Egyptologist Pierre Montet that truly brought Tanis back into the light. Between 1929 and 1951, Montet conducted extensive excavations, and what he found was nothing short of astonishing. His most significant discoveries came on the eve of World War II, in 1939 and 1940, when he unearthed a royal necropolis that contained the intact tombs of several pharaohs of the 21st and 22nd dynasties. This was a monumental find, especially considering that most royal tombs in Egypt had been plundered millennia ago. Among the most spectacular finds was the tomb of Pharaoh Susens I, a ruler of the 21st dynasty. Unlike Tutankhamun's tomb, which was relatively small and hastily prepared, Susens I's burial chamber was a testament to royal wealth and power. Montet discovered Susens I's mummy, encased in a magnificent silver coffin, a rarity in ancient Egypt, where gold was the preferred metal for royal burials. This silver coffin, with its intricate details and anthropoid shape, is a masterpiece of ancient Egyptian craftsmanship. Susens I also wore a stunning gold funerary mask, rivaling the beauty of Tutankhamun's, adorned with lapis lazuli and other precious stones. His tomb also yielded a wealth of gold and silver jewellery, canopic jars, and other funerary equipment, providing an unparalleled glimpse into the funerary practices and artistic achievements of this period. But the discoveries didn't stop there. Adjacent to Susens I, Monte found the tomb of Pharaoh Amenemope, another 21st dynasty ruler. While Amenemope's tomb had been somewhat disturbed by later reburials, it still contained a gilded gold funerary mask and numerous artifacts, including exquisite jewellery and Shabti figures. Perhaps even more remarkably, Monte also unearthed the undisturbed burial of Shoshenq II, a pharaoh of the 22nd dynasty, within an antechamber of Susens I's tomb. Shoshenq II's silver falcon-headed coffin, adorned with gold, was a unique and breathtaking find, confirming the wealth and artistic skill of the Tanite pharaohs. The fact that these tombs, unlike so many others, had escaped the depredations of ancient tomb robbers made Monte's discoveries incredibly valuable for understanding a period of Egyptian history that was previously less well documented. So, the cinematic portrayal of Tanis as a city dramatically buried by a sandstorm is, well, fiction. The idea of it being a lost city still holds a kernel of truth, but it was lost due to a gradual environmental shift and historical oversight, rather than a sudden, cataclysmic event. It was overshadowed by the more famous sites of Upper Egypt, its decline a slow, natural process rather than a dramatic burial. But why was it forgotten for so long, despite the incredible riches it held? Why did these intact royal burials remain hidden for millennia, while other, more famous tombs were plundered? Was its lost status more about historical oversight or perhaps the changing priorities of a world moving on, simply forgetting a capital that had served its purpose? The mystery of Tanis isn't about a dramatic disappearance, but about a quiet fading and a rediscovery that, while less sensationalized than a Hollywood blockbuster, revealed treasures that rivaled the boy king himself. The silver pharaohs of Tanis, with their opulent burials, stand as a testament to a powerful, albeit often overlooked, period of ancient Egyptian history. Their story reminds us that even in the most thoroughly researched civilizations, there are always more layers to uncover, more narratives to piece together. So was Tanis truly a lost city, swallowed by the sands of time, or was its rediscovery a testament to persistent archaeological endeavor, revealing treasures that, in their own way, were just as breathtaking as those of Tutankhamun? Stay with us as we delve deeper into the mysteries that still shroud this ancient capital, and perhaps uncover why its true story is just as compelling as any Hollywood legend. The sands of Egypt, it seems, still have many tales to tell, if only we are patient enough to listen. The mystery of the Great Pyramid's construction. Standing sentinel on the Giza Plateau, the Great Pyramid of Khufu is not merely a monument. It is a colossal enigma, a testament to the human ambition and ingenuity that has defied easy explanation for millennia. For over 4,500 years, until the construction of Lincoln Cathedral in the 14th century, it remained the tallest man-made structure on Earth. Imagine a structure composed of an estimated 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing on average about 2.5 tons, with some of the largest, particularly those used in the king's chamber, tipping the scales at a staggering 80 tons. Its base covers over 13 acres, and its sides are aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points of the compass. The precision of its construction, with joints so fine that a razor blade cannot be inserted between them, continues to astound modern engineers. But here's the question that has puzzled engineers, archaeologists, and curious minds for centuries. How did a civilization, seemingly without the wheel, iron tools, or advanced machinery, construct something so impossibly grand, so astronomically precise, and so enduring? The most widely accepted theories for the movement of these gargantuan stones revolve around the ingenious use of ramps. Several variations of the ramp theory exist. The straight ramp theory suggests a single, massive ramp extending directly from the quarry to the pyramid's rising courses. While simple in concept, such a ramp would have needed to be incredibly long and steep, requiring more material to build than the pyramid itself, and would have been difficult to maneuver. The spiral ramp theory proposes a ramp that wrapped around the pyramid's exterior, gradually ascending as the structure grew. This would have been more manageable, but would have obscured the pyramid's corners, making precise alignment difficult. A more recent and compelling variation is the internal ramp theory, championed by French architect Jean-Pierre Houdin. He suggests that an external ramp was used for the lower third of the pyramid, but for the upper two-thirds, an internal spiral ramp, hidden within the pyramid's core, was employed. This theory is supported by the discovery of a void in the Great Pyramid, detected by muon tomography, which some interpret as evidence of such an internal passage. Houdin even proposes that the large blocks for the king's chamber were lifted using a counterweight system at the end of this internal ramp. While no definitive internal ramp has been fully excavated, the concept offers a plausible solution to some of the logistical challenges. Regardless of the ramp type, the process of moving these stones was an immense undertaking. The primary material, Tura limestone for the casing and local limestone for the core, was quarried nearby on the Giza Plateau. The finer white Tura limestone, used for the gleaming outer casing, was transported across the Nile from quarries near modern-day Tura. The harder granite, used for the king's chamber and relieving chambers, came from Aswan, over 500 miles to the south, requiring transport by boat along the Nile. Quarrying involved copper chisels, which were relatively soft, and harder dolerite pounders to break and shape the stone. Evidence suggests that the Egyptians used a technique of wetting the sand in front of sledges to reduce friction, making it easier to drag heavy loads. This simple yet effective method, demonstrated in modern experiments, significantly reduced the force required to move the massive blocks. And who were the builders? For a long time, popular imagination, fueled by biblical narratives, depicted them as enslaved people toiling under the lash. However, archaeological evidence overwhelmingly refutes this. Excavations at the Giza Plateau have uncovered the remains of a vast workers' village, complete with bakeries, fish processing plants, and even a cemetery for the labourers. This was a highly organised, well-fed, and skilled workforce, not slaves. Estimates suggest a permanent workforce of around 20,000 to 30,000 individuals, supplemented by seasonal labourers, farmers during the Nile's inundation period, who contributed to the project. They were organised into specialised teams, with names like Friends of Khufu or Drunkards of Menkaure, indicating a sense of camaraderie and pride in their work. They were paid, fed, and housed, a testament to the sophisticated logistical capabilities of the Old Kingdom. Yet, even with these plausible methods and a highly organised workforce, The sheer scale and precision remain mind-boggling. How were millions of blocks, some weighing tens of thousands of kilograms, lifted hundreds of feet into the air? The Great Pyramid's base is almost perfectly level, with a deviation of less than an inch across its entire 13-acre footprint. Its four sides are oriented almost precisely to true north, south, east, and west, with an error of less than 1/10 of a degree. How did they achieve such astronomical accuracy without modern surveying equipment? The casing stones, now mostly gone, were polished white Tura limestone, fitted with such precision that a sheet of paper could not be inserted between them. This created a dazzling, smooth exterior that would have reflected the sun's rays, making the pyramid glow like a beacon. The placement of the king's chamber, high within the pyramid, with its massive granite slabs, presents another significant challenge. These 80-ton blocks were transported from Aswan and then somehow lifted to their position. While the ramp theories address the general movement of blocks, the precise methods for placing these heaviest elements, or for the final capstone, pyramidion, at the very apex, are still debated. Some suggest a system of levers, or perhaps a combination of ramps and levers, was used for the final stages. The sheer engineering feat involved in simply aligning and placing these enormous stones, let alone the millions of smaller ones, is a testament to a level of practical knowledge and organizational skill that we are only beginning to fully appreciate. Despite decades of research, excavations, and technological analysis, no single, universally accepted blueprint or method for the Great Pyramid's construction has been found. The logistical challenges, even with the most ingenious proposed methods, remain immense. The recent use of muon tomography, which detects subatomic particles to create images of internal structures, has revealed not only the big void, but also a newly discovered corridor, further fueling speculation about the pyramid's internal structure and construction techniques. Could these voids be remnants of internal ramps, or perhaps previously unknown chambers that hold further clues to the building process? Was it sheer human ingenuity, pushed to its absolute limits, or did the ancient Egyptians possess a secret knowledge, a lost technology, that allowed them to defy the limits of their time? The precision of the pyramid's orientation to true north, for example, is astonishing given the tools available. How did they achieve such accurate astronomical alignments? Was it through observing circumpolar stars, or did they have a more sophisticated method? The debate continues, with each new discovery adding another layer to this ancient puzzle. The mystery of the Great Pyramid's construction isn't just about how it was built, but about what it tells us about the limits of human potential and the incredible organizational capabilities of an ancient civilization. It challenges us to reconsider what was possible thousands of years ago. Despite all our modern technology and understanding, the Great Pyramid still stands as a testament to a profound knowledge that we are still striving to fully comprehend. It's a silent giant, whispering tales of a past that continues to inspire awe and endless questions. The story of its creation is far from complete, and perhaps that's precisely why it remains one of the most captivating mysteries of the ancient world. Join us next as we delve into another profound enigma of ancient Egypt, the secrets hidden within their hieroglyphs. Uncovering the secrets of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. Imagine a language so visually stunning, so seemingly complex, that for centuries it remained an impenetrable mystery. The hieroglyphs of ancient Egypt, those beautiful enigmatic symbols adorning temples, tombs, and papyri, were once the very voice of a civilization that thrived for over 3 millennia. From the earliest dynastic periods, around 3200 BCE, until the 4th century CE, these sacred carvings served as the primary means of written communication, record-keeping, and monumental display. But how did we go from seeing these as mere artistic decorations, fascinating but incomprehensible, to understanding the profound stories, prayers, and histories they conveyed? How did we finally unlock the secrets of a language lost to time? A language that held the very essence of ancient Egyptian thought and belief. The key to this monumental linguistic puzzle lay in a seemingly unassuming slab of dark granodiorite, the Rosetta Stone, discovered in July 1799 by French soldiers during Napoleon Bonaparte's Egyptian campaign. This single artifact would prove to be the ultimate linguistic Rosetta Stone. It contained the same decree issued by Ptolemy, the 5th Epiphanes, in 196 BCE, inscribed in 3 different scripts: ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, demotic, a later cursive form of Egyptian writing, and ancient Greek. The presence of the Greek text, a language already understood, provided the crucial parallel text needed for decipherment. The intellectual race was on, and 2 brilliant minds, the British polymath Thomas Young and the French scholar Jean-François Champollion, would lead the charge. Thomas Young, a physician and physicist, renowned for his work on the wave theory of light, made significant early contributions. By analysing the cartouches, the oval enclosures used to encircle royal names, he correctly identified some phonetic values, particularly for the names of Ptolemy and Cleopatra. He recognized that hieroglyphs were not purely symbolic, as had long been assumed, but contained phonetic elements. However, Young believed that the phonetic usage was limited primarily to foreign names, and that the script was largely ideographic. It was Jean-François Champollion, a brilliant linguist with a deep passion for ancient Egypt and a mastery of Coptic, the liturgical language of Egyptian Christians, which is a direct descendant of ancient Egyptian, who ultimately cracked the code in 1822. His genius lay in recognizing that hieroglyphs were a complex system, a sophisticated blend of 3 distinct types of signs: logograms, which represent entire words or concepts, e.g., a drawing of a sun for sun; phonograms, which represent sounds, like an alphabet or syllabary, where a picture of an owl might represent the sound M; and determinatives, which were silent signs placed at the end of a word to clarify its meaning, especially for homophones, e.g., a picture of a walking leg to indicate movement, or a scroll to indicate an abstract concept. This hybrid nature was the key that had eluded scholars for so long. Champollion's profound knowledge of Coptic proved invaluable. He realized that Coptic preserved many ancient Egyptian words and grammatical structures. By comparing the hieroglyphic signs with the Greek text on the Rosetta Stone, and then cross-referencing with Coptic, he was able to systematically deduce the phonetic values of many hieroglyphs. His famous letter to Monsieur Dacier, secretary of the Académie des Inscriptions et Belles-Lettres, on September 27, 1822, announced his groundbreaking discovery, forever changing the course of Egyptology. He didn't just translate a few names, he unlocked the entire system. With Champollion's breakthrough, the silent walls of ancient Egypt began to speak. Suddenly, a civilization that had been mute for over 1,500 years found its voice again. Hieroglyphs, once enigmatic symbols, became windows into a rich and complex world. We learned about their daily lives, their farming practices, their family structures, their laws, and their leisure activities. We gained unprecedented insight into their intricate religious beliefs, their pantheon of gods and goddesses, their rituals, and their profound understanding of the afterlife. The pyramid texts, coffin texts, and the Book of the Dead, once incomprehensible, revealed their spiritual journeys and magical spells. We could now read their historical records, their royal decrees, their treaties, and their epic poems, piecing together a detailed chronology of pharaohs, wars, and monumental constructions. The decipherment of hieroglyphs was not just a linguistic achievement, it was the resurrection of an entire civilization, allowing us to hear the voices of pharaohs, priests, and common people directly. But even with this incredible achievement, are there still deeper layers of meaning, subtle nuances, or even hidden messages within these sacred carvings that we are yet to fully grasp? The sheer volume and poetic nature of many religious texts, like the pyramid texts, suggest a profound philosophical depth that continues to challenge modern interpretation. The ancient Egyptians believed their writing system was a gift from the gods, imbued with magical power. This belief influenced not only the form of the hieroglyphs but also their content, often incorporating puns, metaphors, and layers of symbolism that are still being debated and understood today. Furthermore, the evolution of the script itself, from the monumental hieroglyphs to the more cursive hieratic, and then the even more simplified demotic, and finally, Coptic, presents a complex linguistic tapestry. Are there regional variations or even individual scribal quirks that still elude our complete understanding? Have we truly heard every whisper from the pharaohs, or are there still secrets waiting to be fully understood, waiting for us to listen more closely, to delve deeper into the very soul of their language? Imagine a language lost for millennia, then, suddenly, a stone speaks. But even with the Rosetta Stone and the tireless work of brilliant minds like Champollion, are there still secrets hidden within these sacred carvings, waiting for us to truly hear the whispers of the pharaohs? The journey of decipherment was a monumental intellectual feat, but the journey of understanding the full depth and breadth of ancient Egyptian thought, as expressed through their sacred writing, is an ongoing adventure. Every new translation, every deeper analysis, brings us closer to the heart of this extraordinary civilization. The story of ancient Egypt is still being written, and its most profound secrets might just be hidden in plain sight, waiting for the next generation of curious minds to unlock them. Join us next as we explore another profound enigma, the question of whether ancient Egyptians were, in some mysterious way, time travelers. Were ancient Egyptians time travelers? The allure of ancient civilizations often sparks a fascinating question. Could they have possessed knowledge or technology far beyond what we currently understand? When it comes to ancient Egypt, with its monumental achievements, profound astronomical understanding, and enigmatic artifacts, some theories push the boundaries of conventional history, asking, were ancient Egyptians, in some mysterious way, time travelers? Did they glimpse the future, or even bring back knowledge from another era, knowledge that allowed them to build wonders that still defy easy explanation? Proponents of these theories often point to what they perceive as anachronisms, artifacts or depictions that seem out of place for their time. One of the most frequently cited examples is the so-called Dendera light. Carvings in the Temple of Hathor at Dendera depict figures holding what some interpret as giant light bulbs, complete with filaments and electrical connections. While undeniably intriguing, Egyptologists explain these as symbolic representations of religious rituals, specifically a djed pillar, a symbol of stability from which a snake, representing divine energy, or the god Har-Somptus, emerges, all within the context of creation myths. The bulb is actually a lotus flower, and the filament is the snake. It's a beautiful piece of religious iconography, not an ancient electrical device. Then there's the Baghdad Battery, an ancient artifact discovered in modern-day Iraq, often mistakenly linked to Egyptian technology. While its purpose is still debated, some suggest it was used for electroplating, others for medicinal purposes. It is unequivocally Mesopotamian, not Egyptian. Its existence, while fascinating, has no direct bearing on ancient Egyptian capabilities. Perhaps the most visually striking and often misinterpreted examples are the helicopter hieroglyphs at the Temple of Seti, the Rinabidus. At first glance, these carvings appear to show modern vehicles, a helicopter, a submarine, and even a futuristic aircraft. However, a closer look and an understanding of ancient Egyptian epigraphy reveals a phenomenon known as a palimpsest. This occurs when an older inscription is plastered over and recarved with a new one. Over time, the plaster eroded, revealing parts of both the original and the new inscriptions, creating an accidental optical illusion that resembles modern machinery. It's a trick of light and time, not evidence of time travel. Even their impressive medical knowledge, while astonishingly advanced for its time, including complex surgeries, prosthetic limbs, and a deep understanding of anatomy, was rooted in empirical observation, practical skill, and a sophisticated understanding of herbal remedies, not futuristic technology. They learned through trial and error, through generations of accumulated knowledge, and through a keen observation of the human body. The reality of ancient Egyptian ingenuity is perhaps even more remarkable than speculative fiction. Their advancements were born out of necessity and a profound connection to their environment. Their sophisticated irrigation systems, for example, were crucial for harnessing the annual Nile flood, transforming arid land into fertile fields and sustaining a large population. This required a deep understanding of hydraulics, surveying, and organized labor. Their astronomical observations were not for idle curiosity. They were essential for developing a precise calendar, crucial for agricultural cycles and religious festivals. The alignment of their temples and pyramids with celestial bodies demonstrates an advanced understanding of the cosmos, but one achieved through meticulous observation over centuries, not through alien intervention or time-traveling blueprints. Their mathematical prowess is evident in the precision of their architecture and the complexity of their accounting systems. The Rind Papyrus and the Moscow Papyrus, for instance, reveal their knowledge of fractions, geometry, and algebra, used for practical purposes like calculating areas of fields, volumes of granaries, and the slopes of pyramids. Their engineering capabilities, as seen in the construction of the pyramids and temples, were a testament to meticulous planning, organized labor, and a deep understanding of physics and mechanics, all within the technological constraints of their era. They used simple machines, levers, ramps, and rollers with incredible efficiency and scale. The discovery of the Wadi al-Jaf papyri, ancient administrative documents detailing the daily lives of workers who transported limestone for the Great Pyramid, provides concrete evidence of their logistical genius, showing how thousands of laborers were organized, fed, and housed. So, why do these theories of time travel or lost super technology persist, despite the overwhelming lack of credible evidence? Perhaps it's the human desire to believe in something more, something beyond our current understanding of history. It's easier sometimes to imagine an external, fantastical explanation than to fully grasp the sheer dedication, intelligence, and collective effort of an ancient civilization that thrived for thousands of years. The monumental scale of their achievements, the enduring mystery of their monuments, and the profound wisdom embedded in their texts can feel almost supernatural to modern eyes, accustomed to rapid technological advancement. Could it be that the ancient Egyptians, with their profound understanding of the cosmos and their incredible architectural feats, somehow glimpse the future? Or are we, in our modern arrogance, simply misinterpreting the genius of a civilization that mastered its own time, leaving us with mysteries that challenge us to think beyond the obvious? The true magic of ancient Egypt lies not in what they might have seen, but in what they undeniably achieved with the tools and knowledge available to them. Their legacy is a testament to human ingenuity, perseverance, and a deep connection to their world. It's a story of remarkable human achievement, not extraterrestrial intervention. The mysteries of ancient Egypt are profound enough without needing to invent fantastical explanations. They challenge us to understand the past on its own terms, and in doing so, we often find a deeper, more inspiring truth. The mystery of the Sphinx's true purpose. Its gaze has captivated humanity for millennia, its colossal form rising from the sands of Giza, a silent sentinel guarding ancient secrets. The Great Sphinx, with the body of a lion and the head of a human, is not just a statue. It is the largest, monolithic sculpture in the world, carved directly from the bedrock of the Giza Plateau. Standing over 66 feet high and 240 feet long, it is a monumental achievement of ancient engineering and artistry. But beyond its awe-inspiring presence, what was its true purpose? Was it merely a decorative statue, a grand artistic statement, or did it serve a deeper, more profound function for the civilization that carved it, a function perhaps still veiled in the mists of time? The most widely accepted theory among Egyptologists posits the Sphinx as a powerful guardian of the Giza Plateau and the pharaoh's tombs, particularly the nearby pyramid of Khafre. Its imposing size and fierce lion body symbolize strength, power, and ferocity, while the human head, believed by most scholars to be that of Pharaoh Khafre himself, represents intelligence, wisdom, and royal authority. This combination of human intellect and leonine might made it a potent symbol of the pharaoh's divine connection and his role as protector of Egypt and its sacred sites. Sphinxes, in general, were often placed at the entrances of temples and tombs to ward off evil and protect the sacred spaces within. The Great Sphinx, positioned directly in front of Khafre's Valley Temple and Causeway, perfectly fits this protective role, seemingly standing eternal watch over the royal necropolis. Furthermore, its eastward orientation, facing the rising sun, suggests a profound astronomical significance. On the spring and autumn equinoxes, the sun rises directly over the Sphinx's right shoulder, a phenomenon that many believe was deliberately engineered. This alignment could have served as a giant celestial clock, marking important agricultural and religious festivals and reinforcing the pharaoh's connection to the sun god Ra. The Sphinx, therefore, might have been more than just a guardian. It could have been a monumental instrument, integrating the earthly realm with the cosmic order, a symbol of the pharaoh's control over both the temporal and divine. Yet, the Sphinx holds onto its secrets tightly, fueling alternative theories that challenge conventional timelines and purposes. One of the most controversial and intriguing is the water erosion theory championed by geologist Robert Schoch. He argues that the patterns of erosion on the Sphinx's body, and more significantly, on the walls of its enclosure, are characteristic of prolonged rainfall, not wind and sand. The current, arid climate of Egypt makes such erosion impossible today. Schoch and others contend that this type of weathering could only have occurred during a much wetter period, specifically the African humid period, which ended around 6,000 to 7,000 years ago. If this geological evidence holds true, it would push the Sphinx's age back thousands of years, making it far older than the conventional dating to Khafre's reign, around 2500 BCE. This would imply the existence of a highly advanced, unknown civilization predating the dynastic Egyptians, a civilization capable of such monumental construction. This theory, while debated fiercely by mainstream Egyptologists who attribute the erosion to localized flooding or ancient quarrying techniques, opens up a fascinating possibility. Could the Sphinx be a remnant of a lost civilization, perhaps even Atlantis, as some speculate? A silent witness to a forgotten epoch of human history. Beyond its age, the Sphinx's true purpose is also debated due to the lack of definitive inscriptions about its construction or original intent. Unlike many other ancient Egyptian monuments, there is no clear dedication or builder's inscription on the Sphinx itself. This silence has led to speculation. Was it originally something else entirely? Some fringe theories suggest it was initially a colossal statue of the jackal god Anubis, later recarved into a human-headed sphinx. Others propose that it is part of a larger, undiscovered complex, with hidden chambers or tunnels beneath it, perhaps leading to a legendary Hall of Records containing lost ancient knowledge. While archaeological surveys, including ground-penetrating radar, have revealed some anomalies beneath the Sphinx, no such grand hidden chambers have been definitively confirmed or accessed. The enduring mystery of the Sphinx lies in these tantalizing questions. Why is such a monumental structure so silent about its own creation? The ongoing debate about its precise age and the implications of a potentially pre-dynastic origin continue to fascinate and divide scholars, forcing us to constantly re-evaluate our understanding of ancient history. Was it a mere guardian, a symbol of royal power, or a cosmic clock, a sentinel of forgotten knowledge from an age we barely comprehend? The enigma of the Sphinx continues to challenge our understanding of ancient history, inviting us to look deeper into its silent, watchful eyes. It stands as a powerful reminder that even the most iconic monuments can hold secrets waiting for the right questions to be asked, and perhaps for new evidence to emerge from the sands of time. Join us next as we attempt to unmask the very face of this enduring mystery and uncover what happened to its famous nose. Unmasking the mystery of the Sphinx's face. The Great Sphinx of Giza, a creature of myth and majesty, has stood for millennia, its enigmatic gaze fixed on the eastern horizon. But perhaps no part of this colossal monument has sparked more debate, more speculation, and more outright mystery than its face. Whose likeness is it? And what happened to its famously missing nose? These questions have fueled countless theories, from the plausible to the fantastical, each attempting to unmask the true identity and history of this ancient icon. The identity of the face, Khafre, or another. For centuries, the prevailing academic consensus has been that the face of the Sphinx is a portrait of Pharaoh Khafre, who ruled during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom, around 2558 to 2532 BCE. This attribution is primarily based on several key pieces of evidence. Firstly, the Sphinx is an integral part of Khafre's pyramid complex, situated directly adjacent to his valley temple and causeway. The architectural layout strongly suggests a unified design, with the Sphinx serving as a guardian of Khafre's mortuary precinct. Secondly, a diorite statue of Khafre, discovered in his valley temple, bears a striking resemblance to the Sphinx's facial features, particularly the jawline, the shape of the eyes, and the royal Nemes headcloth. This statue, one of the most iconic representations of Khafre, provides a strong visual link. However, this consensus is not without its challenges. Some researchers, notably forensic artist Frank Domingo, who conducted a comparative study for the Smithsonian Institution, argue that the facial proportions of the Sphinx do not perfectly match those of Khafre's known statues. Domingo suggested that the Sphinx's face might represent an older brother of Khafre, Pharaoh Djedefre, who briefly succeeded Khufu. Djedefre is known to have built his pyramid at Abu Rawash, north of Giza, and was the first pharaoh to use the title Son of Ra, emphasizing his connection to the sun god, a connection that aligns with the Sphinx's eastward orientation. Furthermore, a small Sphinx statue found near Djedefre's pyramid has been cited as potential evidence linking him to the concept of the Sphinx. While these alternative theories offer intriguing possibilities, the overwhelming archaeological context and the strong visual parallels with Khafre's most famous statue continue to make him the most likely candidate for the Sphinx's visage. The mystery of the missing nose, vandalism, erosion, or cannonballs. Perhaps the most enduring visual mystery of the Sphinx is its missing nose. Popular legend, often perpetuated in historical fiction, attributes the damage to Napoleon Bonaparte's troops, who supposedly used the Sphinx for target practice with their cannons during the French campaign in Egypt in 1798. This dramatic tale, however, is entirely fiction. Historical drawings of the Sphinx, predating Napoleon's arrival, clearly show the nose already missing. For instance, Danish explorer Frederick Norden's drawings from 1737, more than 60 years before Napoleon, depict the Sphinx without its nose. The most widely accepted explanation for the missing nose comes from the 15th century Arab historian al-Makrizi. He recounts that in 1378, a Sufi Muslim zealot named Muhammad Sa'im al-Dar was outraged by local peasants making offerings to the Sphinx in the hope of a good harvest. Viewing this as idolatry, he took it upon himself to deface the statue, specifically targeting its nose. According to al-Makrizi, Sa'im al-Dar was subsequently executed for his act of vandalism. This account provides a plausible, historically documented explanation for the damage, rooted in religious iconoclasm. However, some scholars also consider the role of natural erosion. The Sphinx is carved from relatively soft limestone, and millennia of exposure to wind, sand, and occasional moisture could have contributed to the deterioration of its more prominent features. The nose, being a protruding element, would have been particularly vulnerable to such forces. While this might explain some wear and tear, the clean break of the nose suggests a more deliberate act of destruction rather than gradual erosion alone. The combination of natural forces and human intervention likely played a role in the Sphinx's current state. Beyond the nose, the Sphinx has suffered other indignities over the centuries. It once sported a ceremonial pharaonic beard. fragments of which are now housed in the British Museum and the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. This beard, likely added much later than the original carving, was a symbol of divinity and royalty. The Sphinx also bore traces of original paint, suggesting that its face, and perhaps its entire body, was once vibrantly coloured, a stark contrast to its current weathered appearance. Imagine the impact of this colossal, brightly painted guardian, its eyes perhaps inlaid with precious stones, gleaming under the Egyptian sun. So, while the identity of the Sphinx's face largely points to Pharaoh Khafre, and the mystery of its missing nose seems to be solved by the historical account of Muhammad Saim al-Dar, the Sphinx continues to hold a profound allure. Its damaged features, far from diminishing its grandeur, only add to its mystique, serving as a testament to the passage of time, the forces of nature, and the changing tides of human belief and interaction. Every crack, every missing piece, tells a story of ancient power, religious fervour, and the relentless march of history. What other secrets are etched into its weathered stone, waiting for us to truly see beyond the obvious? The Sphinx's face, even in its current state, remains a powerful symbol of ancient Egypt's enduring legacy, inviting us to delve deeper into its past and ponder the mysteries that still linger. Join us next as we unravel the chilling tales of the Curse of King Tut, real or myth. The Curse of King Tut, real or myth? On November 4, 1922, in the desolate Valley of the Kings, British archaeologist Howard Carter made a discovery that would electrify the world and forever change our understanding of ancient Egypt. After years of painstaking, often fruitless searching, his pickaxe struck something solid, the top of a step. This led to a sealed doorway and behind it, the virtually intact tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun, a boy king who had died over 3,300 years earlier. The sheer opulence and preservation of the tomb were unprecedented. Gold, jewels, furniture, chariots, and countless artifacts filled the chambers, offering an unparalleled glimpse into the life and death of a pharaoh. But amidst the global excitement, a chilling whisper began to spread. The Curse of King Tut. Was this just sensationalist media hype? Or did an ancient, malevolent force truly protect the boy king's eternal slumber, striking down those who dared disturb it? The most prominent victim, and the one who truly ignited the curse narrative, was Lord Carnarvon, the wealthy British aristocrat who funded Carter's expedition. Just 5 months after the tomb's opening, in April 1923, Carnarvon died in Cairo from a mosquito bite that became infected, leading to blood poisoning and pneumonia. The timing was uncanny. Adding to the mystique, at the exact moment of his death, all the lights in Cairo mysteriously went out, and back in England, Carnarvon's beloved terrier, Susie, let out a mournful howl and then dropped dead. This confluence of events, though easily explainable by coincidence, fueled the public's imagination and the press's hunger for a dramatic story. Soon, a string of other deaths followed, seemingly linked to the tomb. George J. Gould, an American financier who visited the tomb, died of pneumonia shortly after. Archibald Douglas Reed, a radiologist who X-rayed Tutankhamun's mummy, succumbed to a mysterious illness. Even Carter's canary, reportedly eaten by a cobra on the day the tomb was opened, was cited as an omen. The narrative of the curse gained traction, suggesting that anyone who disturbed the pharaoh's rest would face dire consequences. The idea of a mummy's curse, already a popular trope in fiction, found its ultimate real-world manifestation. However, a closer, more scientific examination reveals a different picture. Of the 58 people present when the tomb was opened, only 8 died within 12 years. Howard Carter himself, the primary target of any supposed curse, lived for another 17 years after the discovery, dying peacefully in 1939 at the age of 64 from lymphoma, a relatively common illness. Lady Evelyn Herbert, Carnarvon's daughter, who was also present at the opening, lived until 1980, reaching the ripe old age of 79. Many others involved in the excavation lived long and healthy lives, directly contradicting the idea of a widespread, indiscriminate curse. So, if not a supernatural curse, what could explain the deaths that did occur? Modern science offers several plausible, albeit less dramatic, explanations. One leading theory points to ancient pathogens. Tombs sealed for millennia are ideal breeding grounds for bacteria, fungi, and molds. These microorganisms, some of which can be highly toxic or allergenic, could have been inhaled by the excavators. For individuals with pre-existing health conditions, like Lord Carnarvon, who was already frail due to a previous car accident and lung issues, exposure to such airborne toxins could have triggered severe respiratory infections or allergic reactions. Studies have identified various types of mold, such as Aspergillus niger and Aspergillus flavus, in ancient Egyptian tombs, known to cause respiratory problems and other ailments. Another possibility is the presence of toxic gases. Ancient Egyptians used various chemicals and materials in their mummification processes and tomb construction, some of which could have produced harmful gases over thousands of years in a sealed environment. While the concentrations might have been low, prolonged exposure could have had adverse health effects on those working inside the tomb. Furthermore, the stress and excitement surrounding such a monumental discovery cannot be underestimated. The intense pressure, long hours, and constant media scrutiny could have taken a toll on the health of the excavators, particularly those already vulnerable. The deaths, when viewed against the backdrop of the average life expectancy and common illnesses of the early 20th century, do not appear statistically unusual for a group of people of similar age and health profiles. The true marvel of Tutankhamun's tomb lies not in a mythical curse, but in the extraordinary treasures and artifacts it contained. Over 5,000 objects were meticulously catalogued and removed, providing an unparalleled window into the wealth, artistry, and religious beliefs of the New Kingdom. The most iconic find, of course, is the solid gold death mask of Tutankhamun, a masterpiece of ancient Egyptian art weighing over 22 pounds and inlaid with lapis lazuli, quartz, and obsidian. It was placed directly over the pharaoh's mummy, ensuring his eternal identity. Beyond the mask, the tomb yielded 3 nested coffins, the innermost also made of solid gold. There were 4 gilded shrines, intricately carved and adorned with religious texts, that enclose the sarcophagus. The antechamber, annex, and treasury were packed with an astonishing array of grave goods, gilded statues of gods and goddesses, ceremonial beds, chairs, chests filled with linen, weapons, jewelry, and even Tutankhamun's childhood toys. Perhaps one of the most poignant discoveries was a small box containing 2 tiny mummified fetuses, believed to be Tutankhamun's stillborn daughters, buried with him to accompany him into the afterlife. Even a dagger made of meteoric iron was found, showcasing the advanced metallurgical knowledge of the Egyptians. The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb and the subsequent media frenzy around the curse ultimately served to ignite a global fascination with ancient Egypt that continues to this day. It transformed archaeology into a public spectacle and brought the wonders of a lost civilization into living rooms around the world. While the curse itself was likely a product of sensationalism and coincidence, it inadvertently protected the tomb from further looting for millennia and ensured its meticulous study in the modern era. The ongoing analysis of Tutankhamun's mummy, using advanced techniques like CT scans and DNA analysis, continues to reveal new insights into his life, his health, and even his lineage, far more profound than any mythical curse. So, was the Curse of King Tut real? Or was it a dramatic narrative woven by a public eager for mystery and, perhaps, a convenient explanation for unfortunate events? The evidence points overwhelmingly to the latter. The true magic of Tutankhamun's tomb lies not in a supernatural hex, but in the tangible legacy of a powerful civilization preserved through time, waiting for us to uncover its secrets. It reminds us that sometimes the most compelling mysteries are those that science can illuminate, revealing the extraordinary human stories behind the myths. Join us next as we delve into the profound and mystical world of the pyramid texts, the oldest religious writings in the world. The mystery of the pyramid texts, which confuse scientists. Deep within the silent stone hearts of the Old Kingdom pyramids, long before the elaborate papyri of the Book of the Dead, lies an even older, more enigmatic collection of writings, the pyramid texts. These are not mere inscriptions. They are the oldest known religious texts in the world, a vast corpus of spells, hymns, and incantations carved directly onto the walls of the burial chambers and sarcophagi of pharaohs and queens. Discovered in the late 19th century, these texts offered the first comprehensive glimpse into the complex religious beliefs and afterlife aspirations of ancient Egypt's earliest rulers. But what profound secrets do these ancient words hold, and how did they guide the pharaoh on his perilous journey to eternal life, transforming him from a mortal king into an immortal star? The pyramid texts were first discovered in 1880 by French Egyptologist Gaston Maspero, who was excavating the pyramid of King Unas, also known as Wenis or Unis, the last pharaoh of the 5th dynasty, at Saqqara. To his astonishment, he found the interior walls of the burial chamber covered from floor to ceiling with thousands of columns of meticulously carved hieroglyphs, painted in a vibrant blue. Subsequent excavations revealed similar texts in the pyramids of later Old Kingdom pharaohs, including Teti, Pepi I, Merenre, and Pepi III, as well as some of their queens. Each pyramid contained a unique selection of these spells, suggesting a degree of customization for the deceased. The primary purpose of the pyramid texts was profoundly practical, to ensure the deceased pharaoh's successful transition from earthly life to the eternal afterlife. They were a divine instruction manual, a magical toolkit designed to protect the king from the dangers of the underworld, enable his resurrection, and facilitate his ascent to the heavens to join the gods, particularly the sun god Ra and the resurrected god Osiris. The texts are a fascinating blend of ritualistic utterances, protective spells against snakes and other malevolent forces, prayers for sustenance in the afterlife, and transformative incantations that allowed the king to overcome obstacles and assume his divine form. These spells describe a complex journey, the pharaoh's soul, or Ba, would leave the body and embark on a celestial voyage, often depicted as sailing across the sky with Ra in his solar bark. Other spells focus on the king's assimilation with Osiris, the god of the underworld and resurrection, ensuring his rebirth and eternal reign in the field of reeds, the Egyptian paradise. The texts emphasize the king's divine nature, asserting his right to join the gods and even to command them. Some of the most striking passages, like the infamous cannibal hymn found in Unos's pyramid, depict the king devouring the gods to absorb their power, a powerful, albeit shocking, metaphor for his divine assimilation. The language of the pyramid texts is archaic and poetic, often difficult to translate due to its age and the complex mythological allusions. They are written in vertical columns, read from right to left, and are characterized by their repetitive nature, which serve to reinforce their magical efficacy. The spells are often introduced by the phrase Jiandwa Jedu Medu, meaning words to be spoken, indicating their oral ritualistic function. They were meant to be recited, perhaps by priests, during the funerary rites to activate their power and guide the deceased. These texts represent the earliest systematic theological thought in ancient Egypt. They lay the foundational concepts for much of later Egyptian religion, including the roles of key deities like Osiris, Ra, Horus, and Thoth, and the intricate geography of the underworld. They also provide invaluable insights into Old Kingdom cosmology, revealing how the Egyptians perceived the structure of the universe, the relationship between the living and the dead, and the divine order, Ma'at, that governed all existence. The very act of carving these words into the enduring stone of the pyramid walls was believed to imbue them with permanent power, ensuring the king's eternal well-being. The pyramid texts were initially exclusive to the pharaohs and later some queens of the Old Kingdom. They were a royal prerogative, reflecting the belief that only the king possessed the divine right to ascend to the heavens. However, as Egyptian society evolved, the desire for an assured afterlife spread beyond royalty. This led to the development of the coffin texts during the Middle Kingdom. These texts, often painted on the wooden coffins of nobles and wealthy commoners, contained many of the same spells as the pyramid texts, but adapted for a broader audience. The afterlife, once the exclusive domain of the king, began to become more accessible. This democratization of the afterlife continued into the New Kingdom, with the emergence of the Book of the Dead, properly known as the Book of Coming Forth by Day. These papyrus scrolls, often beautifully illustrated, contained a wider array of spells and prayers, available to anyone who could afford them. While sharing a common lineage with the pyramid texts, the Book of the Dead emphasized individual judgment in the afterlife and provided practical guidance for navigating the dangers of the underworld, including spells to avoid specific demons or to ensure a favorable verdict from Osiris. Despite the meticulous efforts of Egyptologists to translate and interpret the pyramid texts, many mysteries remain. The exact meaning of some spells is still debated, and the precise rituals associated with their recitation are not fully understood. The texts are often fragmented, and different pyramids contain different selections, making a complete, cohesive narrative challenging to reconstruct. Furthermore, the poetic and symbolic nature of the language allows for multiple layers of interpretation, inviting ongoing scholarly discussion. Could these ancient words, carved into stone thousands of years ago, still hold deeper mystical meanings that resonate beyond their literal translation? Were they merely a guide for the dead, or did they contain a profound esoteric wisdom about the nature of existence and consciousness that we are only beginning to rediscover? The pyramid texts stand as a powerful testament to the ancient Egyptian obsession with death and rebirth, and their unwavering belief in an eternal journey. They are a window into a worldview where the boundaries between the living and the dead, the human and the divine, were fluid and permeable. The mystery of the pyramid texts is not just about deciphering ancient words. It's about attempting to understand the very soul of a civilization that sought to conquer death itself. Join us next as we explore another enduring enigma of these monumental structures, the hidden chambers in the pyramids. Are there more secrets waiting to be found within their colossal stone hearts? Hidden chambers in the Great Pyramids. For centuries, the colossal pyramids of Egypt have stood as silent, impenetrable fortresses, guarding the secrets of their builders. While their external grandeur is undeniable, it is the mysteries hidden within their massive stone hearts that continue to captivate and challenge us. Are these monumental structures merely solid masses of stone with a few known passages? Or do they conceal undiscovered chambers, untouched for millennia, holding untold treasures, or even the remains of pharaohs long thought lost? The quest for hidden chambers within the pyramids is not just an archaeological pursuit. It's a modern-day treasure hunt, driven by both scientific curiosity and the enduring allure of the unknown. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built for Pharaoh Khufu, is the most explored of these ancient wonders, yet it remains the most enigmatic. Its known internal structure includes 3 main chambers. The subterranean chamber, carved into the bedrock beneath the pyramid, the Queen's Chamber, located roughly halfway up the pyramid's mass, and the Grand King's Chamber, positioned higher still, containing a massive granite sarcophagus. Connecting these are a complex network of passages, including the descending passage, the ascending passage, and the magnificent Grand Gallery. For centuries, these were believed to be the sum total of the pyramid's internal spaces. But the very existence of narrow, mysterious shafts leading from both the king's and queen's chambers hinted at more. The shafts from the king's chamber opened to the outside, leading some to believe they were for ventilation or stellar alignment. However, the shafts from the queen's chamber terminate abruptly within the pyramid's masonry, their purpose a complete mystery. In 1993, a German robotics engineer named Rudolf Gantenbrink sent a tiny robot named Uperout, meaning opener of the ways in ancient Egyptian, up the southern shaft of the Queen's chamber. After navigating nearly 200 feet, the robot encountered a small limestone door, complete with 2 corroded copper handles. This discovery, dubbed Gantenbrink's door, sent shockwaves through the Egyptological community. What lay behind it? Was it a genuine hidden chamber, perhaps the true burial place of Khufu, or a symbolic barrier? The excitement was palpable, but the Egyptian authorities were hesitant to allow further intrusion. It would be almost a decade before the next step was taken. In 2002, another robot, this time equipped with a drill and a fiber optic camera, was sent to penetrate Gantenbrink's door. What it revealed was both fascinating and frustrating. Not a grand chamber, but another, rough-hewn stone block just a few inches behind the first, and a small void beyond that. The purpose of these doors and the shafts themselves remains hotly debated. Were they symbolic, part of the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife, or do they lead to something more significant, still waiting to be fully explored? The quest for hidden chambers received a monumental boost with the advent of muon tomography, a non-invasive scanning technique that uses cosmic ray muons, subatomic particles that constantly rain down on Earth to detect density changes within large structures. In 2017, the International Scan Pyramids project announced the discovery of a massive, previously unknown cavity, roughly 100 feet long, located directly above the Grand Gallery in the Great Pyramid. This Big Void, as it was named, is the first major internal structure found in the pyramid since the 19th century. Its purpose is still unknown. Is it a hidden chamber, a construction ramp, or a stress-relieving mechanism? Then, in March 2023, the Scan Pyramids project revealed another significant discovery: a 30-foot-long hidden corridor located behind the main entrance of the Great Pyramid. This corridor, about 6 feet wide, was detected using multiple scanning technologies, including muon radiography, infrared thermography, and 3D reconstruction. While not a grand burial chamber, its existence suggests that the pyramid's internal architecture is even more complex than previously imagined. Archaeologists speculate it could have served as a distribution passage, or perhaps protected the weight of the pyramid above the main entrance. Could this corridor lead to other, more significant discoveries, perhaps even to Khufu's true burial chamber, which has never been definitively found? The history of Egyptian archaeology is replete with instances of hidden, intact tombs being discovered, reminding us that such finds are not mere fantasy. One of the most remarkable examples is the tomb of Queen Hetepheres I, mother of Pharaoh Khufu. Discovered accidentally in 1925 by George Reisner's expedition, this tomb, designated G7000X, was a shaft tomb hidden deep beneath the Giza Plateau, not within a pyramid itself. While her mummy was missing, the tomb contained her magnificent funerary equipment, including a dismantled canopy, gilded furniture, alabaster vessels, and exquisite jewelry, all meticulously preserved. The discovery of Hetepheres' tomb, with its rich array of artifacts, demonstrates that even in heavily explored areas like Giza, significant, undisturbed finds are still possible, fueling the hope that other royal burials, perhaps even Khufu's, might still lie hidden. The ongoing search for hidden chambers in the pyramids is a testament to the enduring allure of ancient Egypt and the relentless march of scientific innovation. Each new discovery, whether a small corridor or a massive void, adds another piece to the colossal puzzle of how these wonders were built and what secrets they still hold. Will we one day find a pristine, untouched burial chamber within the Great Pyramid, revealing the true resting place of Khufu? Or will the pyramids continue to guard their deepest mysteries, challenging us to push the boundaries of technology and understanding? The pyramids, it seems, are still speaking. And with every new scan, every new robot, we are learning to listen more closely. The quest for hidden chambers is far from over, and the next breakthrough could be just around the corner. Join us next as we conclude our journey through the ancient Egypt mysteries, reflecting on the enduring legacy of this extraordinary civilization. From the silver treasures of Tanis, a city once lost to time, to the mind-boggling engineering of the Great Pyramid, from the deciphered whispers of hieroglyphs to the enduring enigma of the Sphinx, and from the sensationalized Curse of King Tut to the profound wisdom of the pyramid texts and the tantalizing promise of hidden chambers, ancient Egypt continues to surprise, challenge, and utterly captivate us. The mysteries of this ancient civilization are not merely relics of the past. They are living questions that push the boundaries of our understanding. They remind us that history is not a static collection of facts, but a dynamic, unfolding narrative, constantly being reshaped by new discoveries and fresh perspectives. Every artifact unearthed, every hieroglyph translated, every hidden void detected, adds another piece to a puzzle that may never be fully complete. The allure of ancient Egypt lies precisely in its enduring enigmas. It invites us to question, to explore, and to imagine. It teaches us that even after millennia, the past still holds secrets, waiting for curious minds to uncover them. So the quest continues. What other wonders lie buried beneath the sands? What other truths are etched into stone, waiting for us to truly see them? The greatest mystery of all might just be how much more there is to discover. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the heart of ancient Egypt's most profound mysteries. If you've been as fascinated as we are, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more explorations into the unknown, and share your own theories in the comments below. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the spirit of discovery alive.